WACTH coaches on the beach, and today we have Ashley Emery joining us from Missouri State. Ashley, it's great to have you on.
Hey guys, it's good to be here.
Ashley, tell us a little bit about getting to Missouri State. You've been there for a few years now. How's it like living in Springfield and getting things rolling at that program?
Yeah, so I've been around here my entire life, except for the short stint of moving to Oklahoma. And so for me, it was the big change, I guess, was just moving away from indoor. Had been at Drury for a few years and then made the switch to the Missouri State indoor staff. And um, I think I was like losing my love for coaching or the indoor game, or I'm not sure what it was. But I remember having a conversation with my husband and was like, I am not sure that I want to do this anymore, even though this has been like the dream. And and then Gretchen decided to take the UCA or no UC Davis job,
Yeah.
sorry. And I was like, I just feel like called to take over that program. And so I was already in Missouri State, so I think that helped me. But I went into that interview and was like, if you want the coach that knows like everything from the jump and is like these perfect AVP coaches, like it's not me, but I was like, I am a good coach, but I will find the answers that I don't know. And I was like, and I'll be the next Holly Hesse. And I know you guys probably don't know who that is, but it's our softball coach that was here for like 30 years. And so little did I know in that interview, they were tired of having five coaches in 5 years. And so yeah, it worked out in my favor. And it's been exciting because I just feel like it's something that I was able to just finally make and put a little bit of work into and give those girls some stability, and it's going great so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, you, you were talking about that burnout. I think that's something that a lot of coaches feel. Kind of talk us through those emotions and how you even came around and decided, all right, I'm going to keep doing this volleyball thing, even if it's not indoor.
Yeah, it was a tough decision and it was hard because it's your comfort zone, and I felt like I could train everything indoor, and so it's been a hey, let's relearn everything in beach. I mean, I had played it, but coaching it
Yeah.
is different. So,
Yeah, you mentioned you're playing indoor. You played at Southwest Baptist. Am I correct in
mhm.
saying that? And you
Yep.
actually graduated in 3 years, but still ended up walking away with all the records, basically.
Yeah, I guess that means they set me a lot. Um, Yeah, so I played my first year of college playing basketball and was lucky enough that my club coach took over SBU. And we had a great relationship. And she was like, "You're quitting basketball?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "I'll give you a full ride to come play indoor." And I'm a homebody. Like I had other offers, but like I was a homebody and wanted to be close to my parents. That's only like 40 minutes from my family. And yeah, I had a good career. In that meantime, I had met my boyfriend and husband at the time. And do I regret not playing like my fifth year? Yeah, I do. My fourth year of indoor, but um, I wouldn't change how it turned out. So maybe just would have played a little longer.
I never knew that you were actually a basketball player first and then got into the indoor side of the college game. That's pretty cool to hear about. Did you have any
Yeah,
records in basketball too?
no. I um I had a good little lefty jumper and I'm tall, so it helped. Um I think I made that decision because my dad was a basketball player. And so like as soon as I got that basketball offer, I like shut down every volleyball offer because I wanted to make my dad happy. And I don't regret that, but I do when I got into it, I can't eat, sleep, and breathe. Y'all have seen basketball schedules. It's not even something that I want to be a part of. And so yeah, made the switch and never looked back from it.
That's awesome. And then you go and you play some indoor, you have a bunch of records. You got any good memories from when you were playing indoor that have kind of helped like your vision of what you want your program to build into as a coach and like those memories, how do you create those for your athletes?
Yeah, my favorite memories are just like with my team. And, you talk about the drama that happens in teams or doesn't, and their friendships. And I can tell you the only thing that I remember, like, other than just wanting to hit the snot out of the ball. But I remember the trips with my teammates, and like I couldn't tell you if on our Florida trip if we won a single game when we went.
Yeah.
But I know what we did with the team and like going to the dinners um and I will say, like, to answer that, like I got into the coaching because I wasn't really close with my teammates, and my best friend is my old college coach now, and that's crazy that that's how it ended up, but she's one of my best friends. But and she knows this, but I did not love my college experience.
Mhm.
I wasn't close with a bunch of my teammates. And when I took over a program, I was like, I want this to be memorable for them, because for some of them it isn't forever. And I want them to know that they can enjoy it, that it's not just this like you're a workhorse and you go home and nobody really cares about you. And so that's where I think that's been my philosophy, is like, there's more to life than just this, but let's enjoy this while we're doing it.
That's awesome.
For sure. Yeah, it's funny. I think we were talking about it like kind of before we started recording, but the whole remembering last year's schedule, like I think about it all the time. It's so we'd never remember exactly how it played out, no matter how much we think we do. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we won this game 3-2. I remember it came down to the threes, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, it actually didn't. There are so many other things that play into this experience, and so how do we create those memories? And I think a lot of like Michelin star restaurants, they talk about like having that indelible a moment when you're at their restaurant. And it's like, how do we create that in our volleyball? How do we create indelible moments that athletes will remember? Because that'll be the cool part, that the story that they'll get to tell when they're sitting around a dinner party later.
Yeah, and you can't reach all of them, and that's I think that's the hardest part in coaching, is because you want them to all know how much you love all of them, and the ones that love you are going to love you, and the ones that don't. And I think that for me, I'm wedding and I'm getting baby announcements, and I'm like, I love that part of it more than how many games she won her senior year,
Yeah, the records fade pretty quickly. You're like, I think she won the most games ever, but truthfully, it's hard for me to tell. But I do remember her wedding day, and I remember getting lunch, you know, when I happened to be passing through town. That kind of stuff's always really cool.
The best part.
Yeah. So, Ashley, what are some indelible memories from your last couple of years at Missouri State on the beach side?
Oh man, do I say beating Michael? No.
Oh,
shoot.
Oh no.
Sorry, set it up.
Actually, the bad news is Michael actually is the editor of this podcast, so he can make sure that nobody ever hears
Oh
that.
no. That will be clipped and played constantly throughout our locker room all year long until they come and play us here in Clarksville.
Oh,
that's great. Shoot. That's great.
Love it.
It's all good fun. Favorite memories, I have to say it would be the last two. Stop, please. Sorry.
Okay.
We're trying to get in the piggy bank. The last two conference tournaments for me. My first year, we weren't very good. It was a growth year. We're just trying to do the best we can. And but you still got that feeling at the end of season, like, whew, this is over. And then the second year, we got there, and the team they're crying that we are done, and it lit a fire in me, because I was like, here we go. Like, they don't want this to be done. They want this, even though we lost. Like, they're ready. And so this year we come and we have our ones end up beating UAB's ones, and you guys know that Jazzy and her partner are so good.
Mm-hmm.
We have a great showing. We fall a little short, and the hunger that they have left for, we didn't have any injuries going in, so that we've hard to like get us to the point of like we're managing our body, we're injury free, and it's just cool to see the ending of each year of like we're progressing, we're getting better, our training regimen is getting better, because that second year I still had kids like in the training tent through the entire tournament, just limping through it. And this year I'm like, we're peaking, like we've got it. And then we didn't. But you know, it's just like it's part of the growing pains. And I think for me, that is my best view of every year of just like this is what it looked like year one, and here we are year three, competing to be top four, and this is how the girls are reacting to it. And for me, that fires me up and gets me ready for next season.
Yeah. That's awesome, and that's something that you definitely want to see because you, as a coach, you kind of have that longer term vision for the program. You want it to outlive not only the people that are there currently, but even yourself after you leave Missouri State. You know, you want that program to continue to have success and leave a legacy like
Right.
that. So to be able to actually see that growth year to year, that's got to be a very special moment. It's something that I'm hoping to look forward to here in the upcoming
Yeah.
years. But talk
Yeah.
talk a little bit about what that meant to you as a coach and what your journey's been like for that to actually start to come to fruition.
Yeah, I think you have, and you guys know, you have those moments of like, oh gosh, should I be doing this? And am I cut out for this? And I think for me, it's, yeah, you've watched that happen and it's exciting. And then you build that staff around you that like is helping you along the way. And I think that's the hard part in any sport, but getting those people in your circle that are like, they've got your back behind closed doors. They are going to preach what you preach, and you can go into battle with those people. And I think for our team, you know, we've got a great strength coach that is like all about the girls and like what I mean, he went from being a football trainer to switched it to beach volleyball, and he is all about like what is going to make them the best for their support. And so it's like, great, they've got that piece. Now their body is being taken care of. And he and I are having conversations of like, let's not overload their practices. And then you've got, now I've built, you know, assistant coaches that I don't have to watch their court every second of, you know, I think I have a hard time like giving up control and on court drills, but I can't be on two courts at once. And so we've got a coach or two coaches that I can be like, hey, this is what we need on that drill today over there. So I can work on blocking or I can work on whatever. And so, yeah, I think it's just exciting to see that you've got that trust, you've got those people in your circle, and you've got a team that's bought into it. That's what's like gets me back every single year. Cause you know, if you had a bunch of kids I had a kiddo text me yesterday that she's excited to get back. And I mean, we're a few weeks away, you know?
Yeah.
And then I thought back and I go, did I ever text my college coach? Didn't text back then, but did I ever tell her I was excited to come back to, to practice? Definitely not. And so it's cool to get those texts in the summer of like, they miss me and they're ready to come back. I'm like, yeah, me too. Let's go, you know? So it's fun. I don't know that I answered your question. It's just accumulation of everything and finally seeing it like the pieces fall together and the team take a hold of it it's pretty cool.
Yeah. What is the one thing you wish more people knew about building a program? Because I think on the outside, the first time you did it, Michael, you can answer this too because you've done it a couple times or are doing it. But like, I think sometimes on the outside, it's like, wow, that person built that thing up. What do you wish people knew was like the biggest thing?
Oh gosh, I think maybe just and maybe it's not the people, maybe it's the girls. I wish they knew where your heart was in it, because I think it's hard to make some of the hard decisions. I had to make some hard decisions for our program with kiddos that maybe I didn't recruit. And I think it's hard because you want to let those kids know you care about them, and you care about the program. But that was the hard thing for me is like, I wish they knew your heart, because it isn't that you didn't like these kids, or I guess it is that maybe they don't fit your program needs at the time, but that you do care about them. But it's the overall picture of like everything that has to go into what you're creating. And I've said it to recruits and I've said it to people of talking about our program is that, you know, I wanted to get away from being Jersey girls. Like Missouri State has beach. You could just go play it if you want to. And that's the hard part is like, it isn't because you don't care about those people and the things that were there before you, but it's, hey, this is what we want moving forward. And I just wish people knew that like there's so much behind the scenes and like heart that you're putting into it that doesn't have anything to do with like the negativity that most people see.
Sure. Yeah.
And to also kind of go off of your point, like you're kind of the middleman as the coaching staff between the business side of administration and then the student athlete side of, the student athletes, and being
Yeah.
able to compete and have fun and, create these everlasting memories and possible bridesmaids and future weddings, that type of
Yeah.
thing. But then on the other
Yeah.
side, you got your administration breathing down your neck of, hey, we're giving you a ton of money to do this. Like,
Yeah.
what are you providing for us as well? So you have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be
You still
that.
have a job at the end of the day.
Yeah, you have to be that balancing agent between, all right, what's best for the program, and then what is also going to help these individuals be able to have successful careers after this 4 years of playing, or wherever they go off to. And so that is a
Yeah.
very tough balance. And sometimes it is best for somebody to hear, like, hey, maybe this isn't for you,
Yeah.
and like maybe we need to get this life started a little bit earlier, that type of thing, for the building of programs.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree with you about the passion, and you wish that they could see where your heart is, because you do have to put in a lot of time and a lot of effort. I mean, it's just countless hours where most of the time you get a week off of I can kind of refresh before the kids come back in August. And when you're
Yeah.
building, it's nonstop. It's
Yeah.
24 hours a day, and that's never easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Being the villain of some stories is not my favorite part, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll find so often, right, that the villain today turns out to not be such a bad villain shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those. Hopefully, you realize how much I cared after the
Yeah.
fact, and so I can definitely understand how that's challenging. But I appreciate both of you guys' insights on it. I think it's sometimes a challenge. And Michael, actually, I even want to touch on one point you said about giving tons of money. I think to us as coaches, we're always like, tons of money. Am I missing something? Like, beach volleyball ain't rolling in it. But when you do break it down, when you look at it, like at a school, if you were to tell somebody, hey, this is how much money we spend on the beach volleyball program, they might not see that value. But our job as coaches is to bring value within our athletes and within the humans that are around our program. And our program might not bring in actual money, but it can provide an opportunity for a student on campus to see something new and experience something cool. And almost more importantly, it can bring in experiences for our athletes who go to that school, who are students at our universities, and help them achieve great things later in life. I think sometimes it can be short-sighted to be like, okay, well, they're done now. What have you done for me this year? Well, 10 years from now, when our 4.0, 4.0 students on our beach volleyball team have real jobs that pay real money, they might donate back, and it'll be well worth the $40,000 we spent in travel that year.
Yeah. Remember the people that loved you. It's funny you mentioned that the humans part of it is, I went to a couple camps already this summer, clinics, and the kiddos kind of asked like what we're looking for at Missouri State. And the first thing out of my mouth every time is good humans, because I'm like, I want those girls who want what's best for those other girls around you. Now, do I want you to be in those situations and have that fire? For sure. But like having good humans in your program and on your staff is like top notch, because they gotta go live life afterwards, and I don't want anybody to be like, that girl from Missouri State, like, I'm like, we're gonna treat people the way we want to be treated. So
the no doo-doo head policy. I gotta spend 4 years with somebody. I don't want doo-doo heads around, and we get to hopefully spend the rest of our lives around these people. Let's not make them doo-doo heads, right? Let's try to pick the good ones.
Surround ourselves with the good ones.
Yeah, for sure.
The other very awesome point about you and your career is you're also a mother to 3, and you're also coaching at the same time. And I've definitely heard the stories of that can be a very tough balance of being a parent and a coach because of how demanding building a program can be. What is your
Yeah.
kind of take on that lifestyle, and like what advice would you give to any of the younger coaches that are wanting to have families as well as to continue to coach?
Yeah, I think kids are resilient. And so that's my thing is like it's hard and it's the mom guilt is real every weekend. Like I'm good for that first night sleeping in the hotel where kids aren't kicking and screaming. And then after that, I miss them every single night. And, but I mean, from the jump, I have told my team, like, I'm a mom first.
Yeah.
And that's maybe not easy for everybody to hear, but if my kiddo is sick, I won't make practice go longer than I have to be there.
Yeah.
But, there's been times where practice had to end 15 minutes early because I am still a mom. Now, if you guys want to stay and finish what we're doing or whatever, please do that because we've built that trust amongst our group. I wouldn't have done that probably my first year. And then they know after 8:30, unless the cops have you in handcuffs, nobody calls me because that's bedtime. And so, that's just respect from my team that I've gotten. But I do want them to see like babysitters cancel, kids get sick. They come and they sit at practice and they watch or they shag balls or they get hit by balls. But my kids, like, I think because they've always either been sitting in a ball cart or been courtside, they're just used to it. And so they've rode the buses, they've taken the trips. They don't so much anymore because I like the little bit of quiet time that I get those first days. But yeah, I think the girls need to see that any career that you want to do, mine's maybe a little easier because coaching, we can kind of control our schedules.
Yeah.
We have a Tuesday, Thursday morning practice so that I'm home for dinner time. And that is Missouri State's schedules kind of work better with us having morning practices on Tuesday, Thursdays anyway. But
Yeah.
for me, it's like those are 2 nights that I know my kids can get like me in front of them and a cooked meal. And so, yeah, I want our girls to see that like you can still have a job and be a working mom and do it, and you can do it. My sister stays at home for the most part with her kids. She works PRN. And I think she's Wonder Woman. I think
Yeah.
she's like like I could not do her job. And then she's like, how do you do this? How do you go and be gone? And I think it's cool to see that we're all so different and we can still make it work because she couldn't do my job and I could not do her job of staying at home either. I know that makes me sound bad,
No.
but I love being able to give back to my program and doing what I love doing. So,
I
And
think
hopefully a bunch of great role models for your kiddos and some great older sisters to have
yes, big
around.
sisters. Everybody thinks I need a girl. And I'm like, guys, I have 19 girls. I got 3 boys. We're going to just stick with those 3 boys.
I think one of the funniest stories that I have from ever playing you guys was when we went up to play you guys up in the Ozark, and we're sitting there,
Yeah.
and your kids definitely feel comfortable in that sand, and like they definitely own that sandbox. And I think we were coaching the ones. You were on your ones bench, I was on our ones bench, and then all of a sudden I look down in front of me, and there's this little boy sitting right in front of me, looking up at me, playing in the sand. I was like, whoa, what's going on? Are you playing next?
Just push him out of the way.
No,
Whose child
it
is
was
this?
just the funniest thing, and it got me to really like come out of that competitive fire because it was such a tightly competitive match, and realize like this is such a cool experience not only for us but for the kids that are playing, and like you can see future generations, and it brought me back down to real life. So I actually thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh gosh.
Because I was
thank
getting
you,
a little
'cause
bit
that's
too competitive at that time. But it was something that was very funny for me, and it's a story that I have saved in my memories for sure.
It's hard for me because I will like sit over there and like stress because my kids are running crazy. And then, like you said, this year my youngest did it. He came and he just stood between my legs while I was like leaned forward coaching. And one of the parents snapped a picture of it. And part of me was like, oh my God, I can't believe they would post that. Like I look like I'm not focused on my job. But then the other part of me was like, you know what? This is real life. Like he wasn't bothering anything. I'm still like, we don't get to yell after every play anyway. So I'm still watching and focused on the game, but I've got a little baby standing in between me. And so it is a hard balance because I am like deathly afraid that you would be like, get this kid away from me. This is intense, But yeah, they've grown up in it and they feel like it's just another place that they're supposed to be. And so
As
I,
long as
I
he
want
doesn't
them to
start
feel that
coaching from
way.
the sidelines, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, she's calling a 1. Yeah.
No, I think we just learned to disarm Michael. Just bring a child,
Yeah.
and you can
Bring a cute little blonde-headed boy over there.
yeah, and you can just disarm Austin P coaching staff quickly.
Got it. Okay, I'm bringing him on the bus this year.
Oh,
There
boy.
you go.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
No, and then you guys are one of a few, I don't know of too many others that utilize 2 facilities. You guys have one on campus, and then you guys use that indoor facility too. What do you like about those 2 facilities, having them so close to campus, and being able to utilize both of them?
Yeah. The good part is they've started taking the dome down. So that was
Okay.
hard for me at first because I don't want to use the dome past the freezing cold temperatures. And so typically what we would do is as soon as it turned 40 and sunny, we stayed on campus. And the hard part is though, with only having 2 courts is we can't play on campus. Not to the point where you're getting good endurance and you're getting that full game without 10 other girls sitting around watching. And so it's a good balance. Most of the times we stay on campus, it's very drill and skill focused.
Mm-hmm.
And when we go out to the dome, it's like, okay, today is going to be more endurance and more play and more because we can spread out and everybody can get going that way. And so it's been kind of nice to balance the schedule. I don't love driving between the 2 places, but and more so, I don't love it for the girls because I don't, as a mother, as a parent, I don't like them being on the highway. But where it's not like we're the only school that ever has to drive to a site to practice. And so that's just the mom fear in me. But the rest of it, it's great. I think it's just balancing our schedule. The girls a lot of times do not want to drive out to Ozark. And so for me, it's adjusting practice plans when the captains are like, we really need to stay on campus today, or when we're having that feedback in our discussions, then, okay, well, how can I give us the best practice we can on 2 courts? So my constant battle, and it will be until the day I'm gone, is to have more courts than the 2 on campus. But that's just going to be an ongoing battle for now.
There you go.
Yeah.
That kind of leads us into like the last question we have is like, what do you want to see next from beach volleyball? You mentioned it from Missouri State. You want to see a couple more courts on campus. What do you want to see next from collegiate beach volleyball?
I think the hard part, and we're all involved in it, is these crazy conferences. I love to be able to travel, and I think it's great. I think it's hard, and it's hard for all of us, but to realistically hit some schedules and stay within our budgets. And that's just school to school, and some of us may have better budgets than the others. But I think to see the importance of maybe we're not revenue generating, but the Olympic sport impact on the world is pretty high. And so I wish that they could get more involved in the beach. And I think that's the biggest thing that I push for in my meetings is look what we do with little resources right now. We're appreciative of what we have, but like imagine if we have the 5 courts. And like I speak a lot on because we've gone there a few times, but Arizona has those 5 courts along the turf, and it's like, oh, you've got that great warm-up area, and then we've got 5 courts right there. And I know a lot of people have great spaces, and so it's like, imagine if we had all this right here and we could be like TCU and draw those kids in that are walking from class and they want to stop in and they want to be involved. That for me is what we're missing at Missouri State, because if we're on the 2 courts, then we're only hosting a try. And if we're out in Ozark, we lose all of those fans that may just pop in and come and see it. We're working to build the program and to get it to be sustaining here. It's just a scary world with like transfer portal, and you've got to treat your kids right, and we try to do that, but I think there's always the grass sometimes seems greener at other places, and we've got to find those ways to keep those kiddos happy and taken care of so that they don't want to pop in the portal and go somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Amen to that.
Absolutely. That's a harder job. Easier said than done.
Yeah, and it's hard when you don't have, we don't have that collective money, or, that's things that we're trying, and that's where we're talking to donors, and that's the things the team, we go back to talking about what the team doesn't see is the donor lunches and the times that you're putting in to try to get them those extra things that we don't just have coming to us.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you taking the time, and thank you to your family for letting their mom slip away for a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, he was kind of a noisemaker in here, but
it's all good. Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah, hopefully we see you guys soon.
Hopefully.